Hey, how's it going? Welcome back. We are going to be doing a timeless reading. Thank you all for showing love about the new spot. I appreciate it. It's a lot more comfortable for me. I don't know. It used to be the opposite. It used to be more comfortable for me to be, in my car out random places, but now I just want to be here. So we're just going to go and tap in. We did the 4/4 portal reading yesterday. Yep, we're just going to tap in. So let's get into it. I give thanks to my guides, angels, and ancestors for any messages you want myself or the collective to see, hear, and know in our life, love, and relationships, for anything we need to see, hear, and know for a timeless reading. If you want to book a personal, everything is in the description. I'll never contact you in any way, shape, or form for a reading. The only way to book a reading is to send me an email or DM me on Instagram. If you want to subscribe to Patreon and see the extended videos that I post after these, that will also be in the description. If you want to listen to my music, that is also in the description. We're going to be starting out with the Sorcerer's Tarot. Let's go ahead and hop in. One card out. King of Wands fell out. All right, so I feel like you may be making plans. That's kind of the energy we were getting here, making plans for the future, right? 5 of Cups, bottom of the deck, utilizing your past disappointments to make a plan for the future here. That's what it feels like. It's one of those things where I feel like you're applying everything that has gone wrong in the past, and you're learning from it, and you're actually utilizing those lessons going forward, and you're not just jumping headfirst into something because it looks good on paper or whatever it is that you're looking at. You're actually taking the necessary steps to go in a positive direction, is what it looks like to me. We also had the 10 of Cups that came out and the 10 of Swords. That's exactly the message that we just talked about, right? So it's looking to me, it's like you understand what this cycle looks like. It's just like 2 different timelines. It's like the old timeline and the new timeline. And I feel like the old timeline is always going to be an option. I don't necessarily feel like it can close out to a degree, but you always have the choice to go back, right? And I feel like that's also a message that even if you do decide to go in this new direction and you end up feeling a little disappointed, you know what I mean? You're going towards your wish fulfillment here with the Star, and something that you feel like may be emotionally fulfilling with the Queen of Cups. These are all bottom of the deck, by the way. I feel like you're going to have 6 of Cups, bottom of the deck, some past energy that will come up as you're taking these new directions. This could just be old ways of thinking. You don't have any sword energy here. We do have the 10 of Swords, so I feel like you're just completely changing your perspective on a situation. Whether this is in love or career, I feel like it could be both, right? We have the King of Wands and Queen of Cups with the Star and the 5 of Cups. And it really, to me, just feels like I don't see any 2 energy, but I feel like there's a decision that you have to make between these 2 here, the 10 of Cups and the 10 of Swords. Like, do you want to repeat the past, or do you want to go in this new direction? I feel like, the message coming out on the short video was going in this new direction is going to force you to face a lot of your fears. I feel like there may be a lot of fears coming up for you surrounding whatever direction this is that you need to go in, right? Let's clarify these, please. Can we clarify what this direction is, what this situation collective is going through? I feel like there's a fear of disappointment. There's some kind of insecurities that I'm feeling coming up. You may feel like maybe you don't have what it takes to be successful in this particular area. Somebody coming towards you may feel that way. We don't really... Yeah, I feel like there's somebody here too that has some deep feelings for you. But I feel like they've been disappointed so many times in the past that they're afraid of making the same mistakes. If this has happened between you already, this is somebody who doesn't want to repeat that with you, right? This is somebody who you may actually have a lot of history here with the 10 of Cups and the 10 of Swords. You may have gone through some kind of betrayal with this person, and I don't feel like they want to repeat that. I feel like you both may have been very disappointed in how things have gone, right? So 9 of Pentacles, and I feel like you're really just focused on staying independent and really taking care of yourself. Despite everything that has happened, I don't feel like you're letting that stop you from going after your dreams. The energy I'm picking up on here is somebody who is really taking care of themselves, of their life, making sure their emotions are in check, making sure they're in alignment with their morals and values regarding passions and which direction you want to go in life. I feel like there are a lot of past life lessons that are coming up. If you're into past lives, right? Six of Cups and the Five of Cups. I feel like this is a cycle. This is, to me, it feels ancestral. This feels like something that's been going on for, I mean, generations and generations. I mean, we don't got to go back, you know, centuries. We can go back like 20, 50 years and look at some of the things that your ancestors have gone through, right? What challenges did they experience in their life? What disappointments did they experience? And how can you learn from that? How can you progress your lineage without sacrificing your own morals? I feel like that's been an issue, especially in just how fast-paced society is. And a lot of the things that we are pushed into in this day and age, it's really easy to lose sight of your morals when it comes to achieving your dreams. It's one of those things where it's like you can take shortcuts all you want, but the shortcuts are they're going to lead you, it's like they're going to set you back. So if you're being presented with an opportunity to take a shortcut when you know you can do better or do it in a way that's going to be more fulfilling for you, take the more fulfilling route. Because if you take these shortcuts, and I'm speaking from experience, if you're taking shortcuts, you're going to get yourself to a place, if you're not in alignment with your own morals, you're going to get yourself to a place where you are extremely unfulfilled, and it's going to feel like a hollow victory. I've experienced this, man. I've done this many times where I have taken a path and I got to where I wanted to go, only to realize that whether it was because I changed or whether it was because I wasn't listening to my intuition, I ended up very unhappy. And I'm talking about just like career situations too, where I would leave behind an entire path because I realized it wasn't in alignment with who I was becoming. And that's something that, it's a process. It's not something that just happens and you're there. That's why I feel like I like to talk about being really self-aware of your cycles and your patterns and how to apply those before moving into these particular directions, okay? We have the World, we have the Knight of Pentacles, we have the Chariot, we have the King of Swords, back to the World. So yeah, man. I mean, we have a lot of mature energy. Okay, we got the King of Swords, we have the Queen of Cups, we have the King of Wands. These are all masters of their own domain, but the only one that has the least experience is the Pentacles. It's the Knight of Pentacles. Like in the Wands, you know your direction, you know yourself, you know your passions, you know what you're talented at, and you're applying that. The Queen of Cups, you're extremely intuitive, you're in touch with your emotions, you know how to navigate the world in a way that respects yourself and others around you. King of Swords, you know how to speak your mind, you know how to stand up for yourself, and you're very grounded and solid. But this is where I feel like you're being forced to grow, is the Knight of Pentacles. How do you apply all of these things to support you in moving forward in this new direction? I feel like I keep getting travel, right? Travel was coming out in the short video. You may have to very well move to another part of the world, right? Another city, another state, another country, in order to really take advantage of this opportunity. And I feel like there's some apprehensiveness here because you're like, well, if you guys remember when we talk about the Night energy in the Hieronymus Bosch deck, it's this energy where there is the willingness to take risks, to be daring, right? But it's also making sure that you're not doing it without caution, right? Erring on the side of caution, still loving yourself enough to know that you have what it takes, you're solid. It looks like the energy here is you're solid. Everything that you've gone through with this Ten of Swords has put you in this solid place. It has allowed you to make these decisions. It's allowing you to really stand in your independence no matter what you've been through, right? With the Nine of Wands, the wounded warrior, the wounded healer, if you want to look at it like that. Somebody who's been through it. But I feel like you have solid roots. We have 9-9. This is essentially cycles. There's a lot about cycles here. you know, with the world, with these two, the nines, these are nines, and the world to me are cycles, right? It's right before you get to completion of the 10. Like we have the 10 of cups, and I feel like that's a completion that you've reached. I feel like you have completed a lesson that you've been trying to learn for a long time. And I don't feel like it was just you. I feel like this may have been your parents, your grandparents' parents, your great-grandparents, I guess you would say. Cousins, their parents. I mean, think about everybody that you're connected to in your lineage and try to find a pattern and see if you can do things differently this time. So that way, generations after you don't have to go through the same struggles that you did. You know, I feel like we don't always talk about it, but I feel like generational wealth is something that's very important, especially with the way things are going these days, man. It's not self-sacrifice. I feel like it's something where you're more so applying yourself to make sure others don't have to go through the same struggles. We tapped into this yesterday, right? Like, just go ahead and pull from another deck. Her name is Bosch. Right, bottom of the deck we have the River to Hell. It says movement, journey, difficulty, and struggles. If you guys remember when we've talked about this card has to do with essentially going through struggles without a positive resolution. So it's this energy where it's like I almost feel like you're putting yourself through something that you don't need to put yourself through anymore. That's where I feel like that self-sacrifice energy was coming in. It's needing to know the boundaries between, like we talked about yesterday, selflessness and selfishness. When to know that line within yourself. How do you know when you're crossing that line? I can't tell you when you're crossing that line. It's going to change for you, and it's going to be something that's always changing because you're always changing. So you're going to have to know when to say no, when to say yes, and when to know when something isn't actually leading you towards where you want to go. And I feel like this has a lot to do with this decision that you have to make here. It's understanding that it's like when you get into that very receptive space of manifestation in the Empress energy like we've been tapping into, you manifest a lot of different opportunities, sometimes multiple opportunities at once. And it takes a lot of self-awareness to understand which is going to be fulfilling for you, right? We have the, what is this? The Baron of Skates, Troublemaker, Confidence, Fun, and Enjoyment. We have the Queen of Swords, so we technically have counterparts, King and Queen of Swords. It says Trickery, a capable woman, downfall of your enemies. Cool. And then we have Page of Berries, whoops, Page of Berries. Helpful, giving, sharing, and a friend. Bottom of the deck again, we do have the Knight of Berries. Knight of Berries says dissatisfaction and a talented person. I'm picking up on this energy where somebody around you may not be, it's like they're not valuing what you're bringing to the table, or they're not seeing it, or they're not considering it. It's this energy here where somebody is so, it's like it's this energy where it's like somebody feels like they know your path better than you, and that's the place they're approaching you from. Whether this is a boss or a romantic partner or even just a friend, because we do have the Page of Berries, of the friendship card. This could be a friend that you may be getting advice on, and taking other people's advice to heart and not listening to yourself is often what will get you to take paths that aren't the best for you. You know, I've had that happen to people around me where they've taken advice from friends that weren't healthy for them and made poor decisions later to reveal that they shouldn't have made those decisions or regretted making those decisions. So I feel like as some final advice here, it's to learn to listen to yourself, to again stand up for yourself. Don't be afraid to say no. Speak up for yourself. Just speak your truth in general. There's a lot of speaking up energy with the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords. When these new opportunities come in, it's needing to understand that, like, you know yourself and your path, and nobody can tell you otherwise. Not a single person on this planet, not me, not another tarot reader, not even your spirit guides, man. Like, you, of all people, know yourself well enough to know how to make these decisions, right? You don't need to rely on tarot readings. You don't need to rely on the advice of your parents. You don't need to rely on I'm not even going to go into all the different areas, but you know, right? You know how to make these decisions because you've been through this before. This is why this cycle is closing out for you. And like we've talked about, this is a layer of closing that you've been through. And so you know which decisions to make. You know how to, you can handle this. It's kind of what it feels like. You got this. Like, you don't have to question yourself. Even if other people around you are questioning you, just don't listen to them, right? I mean, unless, I'm not saying never take advice, right? But if you know somebody's giving you advice from a place of fear and they don't, like, they're not in a position that you would ever want to be in, I wouldn't take I personally don't do that. If I see somebody in a position that I don't want to be in, I don't take advice from that person, right? I'm just gonna be, I mean, it's a little blunt, you know, but that's kind of how I am. I don't really like to take advice from people that have moved in a direction that I don't want to be in, or I don't see myself in that space. And that's again, that's totally up to you. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take this over to Patreon though. Okay, we'll do one more pull. I like to do like about 3 pulls and then we take it over to Patreon. So let's do one single last pull. We do have the full moon coming up tomorrow, actually. Okay. Bottom of the deck, we have the Dreamer. I feel like there is a need to really get in touch with your dreams. I feel like you may be getting, says sleep, dream, visions, and inspiration. A lot of messages do come to you through dreams. Especially the very vivid ones, and a lot of the times it's your subconscious mind trying to speak to you, but it will pertain to things you're going through. I've had that happen many times. I've had dream premonitions and either they come true. Well, pretty much every time I have a very major premonition in my dream, they tend to come true to a degree. And it doesn't always look the same, right? But the message is there, right? We have Illumination and the Fool. Well, I said them backwards, but Illumination and the Fool, the Wayfarer. Illumination says revelation, knowledge, light, and darkness, the path ahead, adventure, and choices. So again, I feel like there's a need to sift through the messages coming in for you. In order for you to make this decision, whatever this decision is, whether that's moving somewhere for another opportunity, whether that's entering into a new relationship with somebody, whether that, it really depends. It's going to depend on you. There's a need for you to get in touch with your higher self and to integrate your shadow and your higher self to make sure that every aspect of your embodiment has a say and everything's in alignment and in balance so you can make a healthy, balanced decision. I'm going to take this over to Patreon. If you do want to subscribe to the Patreon, that is in the description. If you want to book a personal, I will never contact you. The only way to book a reading is to email me or DM me on Instagram. If you want to listen to my music, that is also in the description. But that said, I love you so much. Enjoy the full moon, which is coming. We're already feeling the effects of it. It's about 3 days before and 3 days after, starting on the 6th. But that said, man, I love you all, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. I will see you on Patreon or on the next reading. Goodbye.